All right, Wednesday's edition here at Culotta and the Prince, the vlog. Biz Marquis' birthday today.
You
got what I need. All right, Joe Oliva was here. Cam Cameron stopped by. Boss Talk was classic today. Make sure you check it out at 1045ESPN.com. But you and I are going to be doing a pregame show for the LSU spring game. We talked to the athletics director, Joe Oliva, about it really kind of becoming an event on campus, and that'll be next Saturday.
Yeah, one of the things that we're looking at, across the country is that the game itself is no longer just a focal piece. It's about the opportunity to get people on campus, have an event, put a lot of things around there, because it's just a practice. And as Allen Iverson says, we talk about practice. So they're trying to do all these things they can to make it kind of an event. Looking forward to getting out there and having our opportunity to see some of these guys. We as media guys, we get a little bit of practice access. Not as much as we'd like. This is the one time we can go out there during the entire spring and watch an unfettered practice and see, if some of these guys like Coach Cameron was talking about today, Leonard Fournette, DJ Chark, the versatility of Ethan Posick, all those things will be on display. Looking forward to seeing that.
One thing that Cam Cameron said that really kind of took off and ran was that Leonard Fournette could be the most improved offensive player that he has here in spring. Fournette ended his freshman year on a pretty high note.
He said point blank he's the most improved guy on this offense. And I don't know about you, but that is something that gets me
excited. Frightening.
Yeah, it's frightening. There's a young man over in College Station going, wait, what? Dude, are you kidding me? So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see that, you and I've seen kind of the physical transformation that he has. For as developed as he was when he walked on a campus, you see him now, and he's continued to show physically just how much he's matured and how much he's worked on making sure that he's in the best physical condition he can be. Gonna be a sophomore this year. Seems as though this is something that could be a pretty big year for Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, a lot of people, when you talk about Tommy Moffitt and the offseason program and maturing the body, they're talking about putting on weight. Malachi Dupree, DJ Chark, some of the names that he mentioned. Leonard's actually dropped weight. I mean, you can see that he's a little thinner. He's a little more lean as he enters his second season.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be, again, another really positive thing for LSU. And one other thing that Cam Cameron talked about that I know that fans are going to, some will roll their eyes and others will kind of shake their head. But he talked about how this is the best spring that Anthony Jennings has had since he's been at LSU. And that, while he's seen improvement from Brandon Harris is still, working on being a consistent player. There's no question that if LSU gets, good quarterback play, LSU is going to be tough to beat. If they get improved quarterback play, they're going to still be tough to beat. But if you get to the point in time when you're getting consistent play, look, we talk about it before. When you had Zach Mettenberger and you threw for 3,000 yards, you only threw the ball 25 times a game. If you get to the point in time where you're throwing it between 22, 25 times a game, and you're getting, say, 16 of 22 or 17 of 25, you get into that point in time where you're catching the ball and you're moving the chains. That's really what LSU. That's the best formula for success with LSU's offense. Because if you're only throwing the ball 25 times a game and you're being successful at it, that means that you're complementing your running game, or your running game is complementing your passing game, and that's really, I think, the best scenario for what LSU wants to do, because they do want to run clock, they do want to make sure that they control the ball, and keep the defense on the sideline so that those monsters that they got on the defensive side of the ball stay fresh throughout all 60 minutes.
Give it to 7.
Give it to 7. Throw bubble screens to 7. Hand it off to 7. Run Wildcat to 7. Just let 7 play, man.
Check out the podcast, 1045ESPN.com. We're packed tomorrow. Another good show coming at you.
Yeah, one other thing I want to mention, though. When we had Joe Oliva on, we asked him about Jonathan Taylor, the defensive lineman at Alabama that was disciplined. He was a guy that LSU, the coaches at LSU, and look, if you talk to Joe Oliva on the record, off the record, he'll say, look, I want those coaches at LSU to bring the best football players that they can in here. And if there's a situation like there was with Taylor, we'll evaluate him in a case-by-case situation and decide whether or not we want to take the risk. He said that he didn't want to take the risk with Jonathan Taylor. Eventually, and like Joe Oliva said, it was his decision that LSU would not sign Jonathan Taylor. I think that when you look at that, it's a good system, a great checks and balances to have the across the street from the athletic administration building and at the football building. They both did their jobs. The coaches at LSU found the best football players. They brought them in there. Then the job that was done across the street in the 6th floor, they made the decision not to sign him. I think that's good work by LSU, and I thought it was a refreshing honesty from Joe Oliva to talk about that process and the way that they handled that.
Andy Cannizzaro tomorrow morning, along with Jerry Kill, the head coach with the University of Michigan. And later this week, Eric Musselman will stop by, and we'll patch back up with John Butchergrass. And Dylan Moses is coming in the studio.
Yeah, and Friday morning, Joel Myers is going to be with us as well. So that's 6 big guests in the next 2 days. Looking forward to talking with all those guys. It's a good time of year. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of different voices that we can bring on and talk about a number of different topics.
Culotta and the Prince, 7 to 9 a.m., 104.5, 104.9 ESPN Baton Rouge.